dear students. I welcome you all to the class of English Optional BA third year. In the previous class, we dealt with perspective of one of the pioneers in the field of new criticism, I. A. Richards. Then we came across I. A. Richards' views on the nature of poetry. Today, we are going to study I. A. Richards' views on poetry and communication. According to Richards, the theory of criticism is based on two pillars. The first one is the value, and the second one is the communication of poetry. In fact, the communication of his experience is not part of the poet's work. Process of communication. Richards feels that communication is an integral part of literary creation. The artist is engaged in communicating his experiences. Through the process of communication, it may be conscious or unconscious. The unconscious process of communication is generally and normally effective than the conscious one. Man is accustomed to communicate right from his childhood. The very structure of our mind is largely determined by the fact that man has been engaged in communicating for so many hundreds of thousands of years. Throughout the course of his human development and beyond even that. So the process of communication begins right from the early age till the last breath of human life. General view of artists on communication, and Richards' reply to it. The artist generally says that communication is an irrelevant or at best a minor issue. What he does is something beautiful, which satisfies him personally. His expression of emotions is personal and individual. The other persons get experience from his work. To him, it is a merely accidental, inessential circumstance. More modestly, when he works, he is merely amusing himself. Richards gives reply to this view of artist. It is based on his psychological understanding of the human mind. Richards says that the intention of communication is unconsciously present in the mind of the artist. His formulating experiences in the shape of art is the proof of his wish to communicate. He says that the artist is not, as a rule, consciously concerned with communication, but with getting the work. The poem or play or statue of painting or whatever it is rightly explained. He adds that if artists took communicative side as a separate issue, it would be fatal in most serious work. Scientific and emotive communication of language. Richards rightly observes that communication is inseparable from poetic experience. He examines referential or scientific and emotive use of language. The words are used to communicate references they promote in science and for the sake of attitudes and emotions in poetry. For example, the word fire is used in science as a reference to recall the object, but in poetry, the words fire may be used for a different purpose. It may be a symbol of lust, of purification. The face, there is a phrase, heart on fire. This phrase expresses the excitement in the mind of a person. It is an emotive meaning. It is a pseudo statement because it does not give the literal meaning of the word. Thus, evoking on emotion or attitude is emotive communication, and giving a literal meaning is the scientific use of words. Let us come down to the last observation of I. Richards on poetry and communication, that is, importance of communicative aspects. Richards points out that conscious neglect of communication on the part of poet does not least diminish the importance of the communicative aspect. He emphasizes the fact that communication can be called successful in which the artist has been able to arouse the same emotions in his readers, and that unconscious attempt is better than conscious one. So this is how we have come across I. Richards' observation on poetry and communication. He has focused on the process of communication, general views of artists on communication and Richards, and his reply, scientific and emotive communication of language, and finally, we have seen importance of communicative aspect. Finally, Richards points out that conscious neglect of communication on the part of poet does not least diminish the importance of the communicative aspect. He expresses the fact that communication can be called successful in which the artist has been able to arouse the same emotions in his readers, and that unconscious attempt is better than conscious one. So with this, I would like to conclude I. Richards' views on poetry and communication. In the following class, that is on tomorrow, we shall deal with I. Richards' views on the value of poetry, in which he first examines the working of human mind and general psychological theory of value. He describes the human mind as a system of impulses. There are conflicting instincts and desires and wants or appendices, as he calls them, in the human mind. So, dear students, in the following class, that is on tomorrow, we shall have elaborate discussion of I. Richards' views on the value of poetry. With this, I would like to remain here. Thank you very much.